Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review of The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I received a free copy of this book courtesy of the publisher in exchange for taking part in the ultimate tour by The Right Reads. Obviously today is my tour stop. You can go to the Right Reads Tours account to find out all of the other stops and hear what everyone else on the tour has had to say about this. You may have heard of Karen M. McManus before. She wrote One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next, and Two Can Keep a Secret, all of which have been amazing hits. These are all YA thrillers, which I think have all been set at school. This one's a bit of a deviation from her previous pattern because this one has been set on an island. The Cousins tells the story of three cousins, Millie, Aubrey and Jonah. Their three parents plus a fourth uncle have all been disinherited by their grandmother 24 years ago. Shortly before this, their grandfather had died, and the grandfather had always said family first. Now is not the time to scrabble my sofa, come on. So the grandfather had died, and a couple of years later the grandmother had decided to disinherit all of her children, and through her lawyer had sent them a letter saying, you know what you did. But all of the children claim to not have known why they've been disinherited. So they've since had their own children, which are Millie, Aubrey and Jonah, and these three children have grown up not really knowing each other, not really knowing much about their aunts and uncles, and never having met their grandmother, who still lives on the island that their parents grew up on. The island is Gull Cove Island, and it now is a resort where people come and stay, and their grandmother has become a bit of a recluse and only really makes herself known and sees anyone at the big summer gala every year. The three grandchildren get a letter in the post from their grandmother saying that she would like them to come and work on the island and be part of the summer work programme so that she can meet them and get to know them. All of their parents encourage them to go because they want to find out why they were disinherited and essentially to see if they can get back into the inheritance. But of course, not everything is as it seems. Everyone's keeping secrets, including the cousins themselves and their parents. Once the cousins start to get to know each other, they find out that there's a lot going on here they didn't know about, and everyone's been told different stories about what happened in the past, but all of them have this similar story of their parents claim to not know why they'd been disinherited. This is a really great twisty thriller. If you've liked her previous books, I'm sure you're going to love this one too, because it is a very engaging thriller. The main difference with this one is that it is set on an island, not a school, and from what I've heard, it's quite slow paced compared to the other ones. But this one is more about building atmosphere and character, and I think that really lends well to the slower pace. I really loved Aubrey and Jonah. Millie grew on me over time, and there's certain other side characters who I can't name because it would be spoilers, who I also loved as well. And what's interesting is at the same time as seeing the cousin story, you get to see a glimpse of what happened shortly before the children are disinherited. So it's told in 1996. And that is all told from Alison's perspective, who's the only daughter. And it's all very interesting. You get to see this tale slowly unravelling and get to hear what everyone's heard over the years and what rumours are flying around about the disinheritance. I think my favourite is definitely going to be Aubrey. She is such a cinnamon roll character. She's so sweet and kind and always wants the best for everyone. She definitely sees the good side in people, and I think she shows the most character growth for me throughout the book. You really see her come into her own and gain some confidence, which I really liked. Millie and Jonah are also great perspectives to hear from. They were really engaging and really interesting and gave really different perspectives because they all have a very different take on life. What I found most interesting was that all three of the cousins seem to have a very dark relationship with their parents, I guess you could say. None of them really get on very well with the story children, and they haven't really got to know each other before. They last saw each other when they were very small, so it's a very strained family relationship, but being thrown together on this island seems to bring these cousins together in their common goal of wanting to know what happened in their family's past. And I really liked seeing that little collection of them coming together and becoming friends and teaming up to find out what happens. And of course, this is a thriller. It took lots of interesting twists and turns. I kept thinking, oh, I know where this is going. This is so obvious. And I was always wrong. Like, I did predict a few things, but you are sort of led to believe that the things you're probably going to be predicting are the big reveals, and they most definitely are not. Like, I predicted the smaller reveals, but I never predicted the big reveal, definitely not the big reveal at the end of the book. and that was really gratifying to get to the end and to still be surprised by what was happening, especially because once you find out what's really been going on, you can start to see the little breadcrumbs that had been left behind, and that is really satisfying because you see how you could have figured it out by yourself. But there's something about Karen McManus's writing where she does really lead you down a rabbit hole, like on a wild goose chase, whatever kind of phrase you want to use. She is very good at misleading you whilst also giving you all the clues you need to see the truth, and it's kind of about you trying to figure out the truth but being so easily misled by her wonderful writing. I thought she did a really brilliant job of building up the atmosphere. Like I said, this one is slower paced, and that really is to give it time to build this atmosphere of tension and to really understand how the island is feeling about things. And I think the townies in the island, who are the people who aren't the Story family but live there year round, they kind of become their own character, and I really enjoyed how you see these different townie reactions with the Story family and the Story cousins, and see how these people interacting with them leads to this tension, this atmosphere of intrigue and distrust, and it really just builds and builds until you get quite tense reading it yourself. I started to get a little bit tense reading towards the end, especially the last like third, because so much had built up and I just wanted to know what was going on, and I really loved that. It was such an engaging read. As much as I say this is slow paced, this is definitely one you can binge. If you're looking for something to boost your end of the year stats, this is one for you, because I read this in perhaps 4 hours total, which is really fast for me. So if you are a fast reader, this is going to be like a couple of hours tops. It's such a good book to just whiz your way through, because at the end of each chapter you're kind of left with something that makes you want to go, oh, I want to see more, I want to know more about that. And this is a multi-perspective book told through the three cousins and then Alison back in 1996, and that really helped as well, because you just start to get down that one road of intrigue and then she quickly cuts to a different character, and sometimes it does continue on the same sort of track, but a lot of the time you then change character and start going down a different road to a different story, and all the characters are like pursuing these different threads, and it just makes you want to keep reading and to find out what's going on. Overall, I rated this one a 3.5/4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I just struggled with the slow pacing at the start. I'm not a big thriller reader, and if I'm going to read a thriller, I do prefer the fast-paced ones, but the ending, like the last third of this book, really made it for me. It's really worth the wait. If you're not sure at the beginning, you're thinking it's a bit slow, I promise you the ending really does make it worth the read. So that is my review for The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. If you've read this book, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you haven't read the book yet, it is out now and available to buy. I think stocks are running low because it has been so popular, so definitely put your order in if you want a copy for yourself. Thank you again to The Right Reads and to the publisher for providing me with the free electronic ARC. It was greatly appreciated, and I have done a completely honest review. I have not made anything up. This is completely in exchange for an honest review. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to see more content from me. If you are here but you don't have anything you'd like to say, leave me a little, oh, this one's hard, a little ocean themed emoji, so like a wave or a fish down below because it's set on an island. I like that one. So yes, if you are here and you don't have anything you'd like to say but want to leave me a comment anyway, leave me a little ocean emoji down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!